Good morning, Bridge Nation. It's 6 minutes after 11 o'clock on Wednesday morning, the 17th of August 2022, the anniversary of the birth of the national hero Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the anniversary of Hurricane Charlie in 1951, 17th of August. The Bridge Nation welcomes you to the instrument that links people of Jamaican origin, of Jamaican affection, all over the world. This is the Public Eye with the open mind. And the chief is with the open mind this morning, the Honorable Pearnel Charles, OJ, MP for life. Hello, Mr. Charles.
I thought you were going to say this month, August, is the anniversary of Pearnel Charles.
Is it?
The 85th anniversary.
Really?
Yes.
We congratulate you.
Yes. Well, I don't know if I'm the one who should be congratulated.
Yes, okay.
But somebody has contributed to my being here.
Yes.
And my still being here.
Yes.
So, there's a process that Mama bring you come.
Yes.
And somebody keep
you going. Well, to you and to all those who have kept you going and will keep you going,
yes,
we give thanks and praise. That's nice. Nice to know. I didn't know you're August, man.
Yes. Last day. You need to look at it too. I understand that it's 31st of August. That comes on a Monday.
Right.
May not come back again for nearly 100 years.
Really? Well, I wanted to engage you
Yes.
as we introduce our program today. I should tell listeners that that redoubtable legislator, Fitz Jackson, is going to be our guest in a little while,
Yes.
talking about his fight on everybody's behalf in relation to the financial sector and their fees.
Yes.
And we also have a very fetching story in the global connection with Ira Jam and Erwin Clare later on, of a Jamaican who is doing so well after a very tumultuous business beginning in the United States. Yeah. But the mentality of our people is an ongoing subject that we have to bear in mind, because it seems to me, what is it? Is it because of their desperateness that they are prone to these flights of fancy, the gambling?
No, hold on. The first thing you're asking, please do not join those of us who say we are Christians,
right,
and we want to wipe out what is called local culture.
Right.
So if a man say buy a number, and some number is black man, some is white man, some is fowl, some is chicken, so what's wrong with that? That's their enjoyment, not the gambling, right? I can't stop that, but we have a culture which people will give name to certain things.
No, I don't mind that. I don't mind the naming.
Yes.
What I object to is the fact that the only place where you can find people stand up in a straight line in Jamaica is in front of the betting shop. And what bothers me is when people feel so desperate or so abandoned for whatever reason, that they feel that their fortune lies in putting their last $100 on some racehorse or some numbers game.
Have you ever heard that there are some racehorse gamblers and owners who own some properties and some things in Jamaica that you will never ever try to own?
No, I understand that, but
It's not every gambler.
But I don't admire them for that.
Well, no. Well, could I surprise you by telling you, I'm 85 years old.
Yeah.
I have been to Kemenas Park on one occasion in my life to see what it looked like.
Yeah, and you first me. I haven't been there yet.
Yes, well, first you. I don't buy racehorse.
No.
I don't gamble.
No. So I want to ask you, as both of us have former positions in government. Some people would believe we still do. But what increase in productivity can come from gambling? Absolutely none.
No. I won't go as far as that. There are some gamblers who have big business.
Yeah. You mean out of the gambling winnings?
Well, I'm not sure whether it's out of the gambling winnings, but they win too.
Okay, but fine. But
and they invest too. And there are some people who invest all they have and lose everything.
But the people must be encouraged away from that. Instead of which, what we do is encourage more of it.
In what way we encourage?
You ever watch TV advertisement? Every single thing now, from your buy a stove to your choose numbers, everybody has some gambling element to it. By the sweat of your brow you shall earn thy bread. That's the Bible.
Let us repeat what you have just said. If you come to my store and buy a fridge, you're likely to win a stove. Because we have a numbering thing. Maybe you wouldn't know the number, but if you are the 10th person or you're the 15th person, you get a stove. You call that gambling?
A mild sort.
A mild
so
sort. You're opposed to that?
I don't like it. Because
No, I'm not saying. But I don't like it unless if I go in and buy a massive.
But because, you know why I don't like it? Because in order to do that, that same store owner has to put something on the price of every other person who doesn't win.
Well, put it another way, he will tell you, if he does that, and he would have normally sell 10 stoves, 10 fridges, by making you feel that you have the likelihood of buying one and get out of it, he might sell 100 stoves. So he may work it out that way.
And therefore it becomes more benign. But it also inculcates a habit. A habit
that you don't like.
And the habit is that you can get something valuable for nothing. Nothing of value is free.
Why you keep repeating my mother's statement?
You don't know how proud I am to be associated with that wise woman.
I don't agree with Mama neither. There's something.
Nothing, not even love. Love is not free. You should know that. You're a married man for a long time.
Love is not free.
No. It's a reciprocal arrangement, and you have to give in order to get. Yes.
Love our money.
Well, the two of them.
If you can't give the woman something, she's not coming.
The two of them sometimes come together. I married a couple, presided at a couple's wedding last Saturday, and I said for richer, for poorer. So sometimes the handover isn't there. Yes.
Most time you go the poorer way.
Not even salvation is free. Salvation is paid for by precious blood. No, man. No, you're too early.
Mr.
All right.
Ronnie, as far as I'm concerned, I think you set me up for the whole weekend. I can't win a point.
No.
But let's check one.
We're coming.
If you practice hard, like a Usain Bolt or a pocket rocket or
lovely.
Thompson and
human effort.
Human effort.
Different from choosing numbers.
No. I'm not saying choosing numbers. They in fact, they have invested more than some of us who do lighter work. Because to be honest with you, it's not easy.
I concede
to
that.
go out there every day.
No, training. Yeah, sure.
And working.
We have our guest on the line. Fitz Jackson, greetings.
Greetings to you, my friend, my brother, and greetings to my good friend Pearnel.
So how Ronnie is your brother, and me is just your friend?
Pearnel, I don't finish yet.
Ronnie look at me and said, "But you're in favor, so baby, you are the brother, and I am the friend."
But Pearnel, in that case, I don't have to state the obvious.
Listen to me, Fitz Jackson, Member of Parliament for South St. Catherine, veteran legislator and supporter, advocate for people who are besieged and beset by the rape of unjustified bank fees. Welcome to the bridge. This program relates to the diaspora abroad and to our brothers and sisters locally. We're glad to have you. Before we take on your present battle with the banks, Pearnel and I have a difficulty. Although both of us have retired from representational politics, people are still approach us as if we were MPs. What are we to do?
No, I was about to amend your comment to say you have not retired from representational politics. You have retired from formal representational politics.
Well, Fitz, he doesn't have it as bad as I do.
You think?
I am called for Canadian farmer cards, American Conrad cards, Pitney Wanga because school. I said, listen, I have retired. She said, but no, sir, you have a daughter and a son in there, so you can get from them. So I am worse off than you. I get licked from the daughter side, I get licked from the son side. And they expect me, they said, Mr. Charles, you've been there for 20 and 30 odd years, you can do it. Go ahead. And they instructed me, go and get it done.
Yes. And I get the same thing from people who are really more desperate. Fitz Jackson, tell me if you have the same observation than ever before. And of course, because of the role that I once played, I'm told you must be able to get my child into this school or that school.
Yes.
You know, don't tell me you don't have that influence.
Yes.
So what does this say about the role of representation, Mr. Jackson, you who are still very much in the harness?
Yes, what it confirms is the inadequacy of the provisions being made to persons to respond to their needs. I relate to that by both Pearnel and yourself, Ronnie, because there are areas that I once represented. I've had about 3 boundary
reallocations
because of the growing size of my constituency. Many persons in those areas that I once represented were still coming to me.
Yeah.
But of course, a bit different than you because I'm still a member of parliament while you both have been out. And now the other side of it too, what I want you guys to really appreciate is because of the confidence that they have in you both. No doubt you have responded to their circumstances in the past in a way that they appreciate. And so long as those challenges persist, they will come back to where they have had successes.
Well, Fitz, let me just tell you something. I don't know if Ronnie knows this, because I have served 2 rural parishes.
Yes.
3 terms in St. Thomas and 4 terms in Clarendon, rural parishes. We have some of our own people who are generals. In other words, they not only wear 2 shirts, right? They will wait for you and they will clean you out if they can. And they go to the PNP and go to the JLP. And you come and say, listen, I have a way now, I'm going to make you work for yourself. The man said, boy, Mr. Charles, that the time for that, You don't have the time to go and work for yourself.
Is that the majority of people?
No. It's not the majority. Particularly our women who are at home with children. And sometimes that man take long to come a yard if him come at all. And passing through, begging her to prepare that she can vote for you, or begging her to talk to her friends, and she has to say to you, but sir, they pitting them going to school and then come home, nothing for it this evening, What are you going to do, Ronnie?
Well, this is it. Now, the question, Fitz and Pearnel, is that Jamaica does not have a proper welfare system. And in fact, the majority of our people are living below, just at or below the poverty line, whatever the Department of Statistics wants to tell us, especially now when, despite the reduction of $12 on a kilogram of chicken, the people cannot buy enough food. What is minimum wage is not a living wage.
Yeah, but let me ask you. Who has that risk? You see, when you guys put it this way, it's as if this man called government has this responsibility. And the government said, it comes back to me and you. If you don't pay the taxes, if I don't get the money from you, I can't give it back.
Government is the only entity that can legally put their hand in your pocket and mine and take out.
So you're saying they must
needs.
put their hand in, put their hand in more man pocket and take out and give people who don't really need it.
I am saying no. I am saying that they must whatever is available must be given out equitably and according to need. 1, yes, and 2, that there is an unfair burden of tax in this country, which brings us to Fitz Jackson's situation. Because when the financial system, which we all have to interact with, takes money which they do not deserve, which is not related to services given, yes, some of us don't even know that it is being taken away from us, that is inequitable, and the government has a responsibility to do it. And I am further saying, to open the discussion, that it is terrible and an indictment that the government that you are part of, Mr. Charles, and still are associated with, yes, has resolutely set their their pattern in order to defend the rape by the banks rather than the benefit of the people. Fitz, help me.
Fitz, I take the licking, but I'm asking you a question first. If when you went to the bank with your $5,000 check, you had asked it to be deposited into your account, and you draw from your account, what would there be any charge to you?
Well, can I respond, Pearnel?
Yeah, sure.
Let us speak to the real issue rather than
No. The reason I ask you is because I have gone to the bank, I have a check, and I want to change my check, but I have an account at the bank. And the lady said to me, if you deposit the money into your account, Mr. Charles, you can take the amount that you want from it. Now, if I am to change your $5,000 check and your account only having $1,000 check, I can't change it. So come on, talk to me.
Okay, well, there's a couple of issues that there is, Pearnel. What about the deposit and inadequacy of the account at the time? What would have happened if you deposited that check and you never had $5,000 in the account? You could not get $5,000 cash to walk away from.
But I don't deserve it, Fitz. If I own
but I'm not
saying
that you should.
That's not an issue.
I'm not saying that you should get it.
Okay.
I'm only stating that fact. However, the check which is drawn on a bank to which you go to encash it, the money is in that account. And they have verified that the money is in the account against which the check was drawn to be paid. So you should get the $5,000. In my case, it was a check for $2,500.
And you had $4,500 in your account.
No. You're going ahead of me, Pearnel. I went to the bank with a check that was drawn to me.
Yes.
No account with the bank.
You don't have an account at the bank?
No.
Okay.
The person who gave me the check has an account at the bank. So when I go to the bank and they check the person's account, they saw that enough was there to cover the check that was drawn to me. So they should give me what the check said.
But they don't. They take out.
But they don't, and that's the
$375.
Okay, well, Fitz, stop
no,
right there.
$385.
Stop right there. Let me join the team.
Please.
No, let me make my position clear. If you go to the bank with a check from John Brown, and John Brown has money in the bank to cover his check that he gives you, I have a problem with you taking money out of the $5,000.
But that is what you voted to keep.
That was yesterday.
All right, yes, but they're still doing it. The people.
No,
we are here to tell the government of the day, tell the people in the diaspora that they must put pressure, because Fitz and all of us, you today rather than yesterday, me, all of us, we are not getting anywhere.
Yeah, but I
look at it. The parliament, the representatives of the people, have so frustrated any justice in this matter that Fitz Jackson has had on his own, at his own expense, and it's a very significant expense, yes, take the largest bank in Jamaica, or one of them, to court. Can you imagine?
Yes, but and the court is going to give an order, right?
God may come first.
No, man. No.
Seriously, I
mean that. So you are indicting the court?
No, of course, the court should hear Fitz's matter tomorrow, instead of which it's probably going to be 2 years' time. So you are indicting the politician, and you are indicting the parliament, the majority, indicting the court. All I want is for the people to get relief.
Ronnie,
how long must we suffer on the day of Marcus Garvey's birthday?
Let me tell you how long I plan to suffer. As far as I am concerned, if you give me a check,
you said it.
I'm not going to a bank where I don't have an account.
No,
and if I go to an account, I would expect, coming with you now, I would expect that if the man have the money in the bank, that you don't take any money out of my check.
But they do.
But I am joining you now to say I oppose that.
And we're accepting you. But then, Fitz, tell us a story. The story is much wider than just that one.
Thanks for this opportunity. It is a bit sad and really painful, even listening to this discussion, because the bill that I tabled in the House that was voted against en bloc by the JLP government.
When was it? 2017?
2018.
2018.
February 13, 2018.
4 years going. Plus.
One of the provisions in that bill explicitly prohibit the banks from doing just what Pearnel said shouldn't be done.
Yeah.
But his colleagues voted against that provision.
Why?
Because they're taking instructions from the bank.
Exactly.
No. When I heard Pearnel said what he just said about yesterday, Pearnel, you're my good friend, my brother of many years. I have much regard for you. But it rings hollow, Pearnel. Yes. If you say that was yesterday, I have a different position, and you are not lending your voice out there with your reputation and standing in the
he's doing it now.
Listen, I'm not only lending my voice out there, I'm lending my voice everywhere.
Yes.
I'm making it clear that if I get a check from you and you have an account to cover that check in the bank, I should be able to go and draw my money from your account and go about my business.
But Fitz,
Pearnel, if we're really sincere and honest about this thing and not just making convenient talk, we don't have to wait until the court to act in the matter.
That what? Join you?
We don't have to wait until the court because we have a bill before the parliament that can cure the same thing
but I am not in the parliament. Ronnie and myself are outside giving you more support than you would have gotten in the parliament.
Why? But what the point?
Because when you are in the parliament, if the minister of finance gets up and speak on behalf of the government and speak on behalf of you and justify why it is being done, you wouldn't vote against it.
No, believe me. But you know the one thing.
But you know who you are.
No, but you all of us have a conscience.
Yes.
And this is one in which the Minister of Finance is dead wrong. He's wrong, and I'm sorry to say it. And the point is that the deeper truth. Fitz is going to tell us about the case he has. But the deeper truth is that the government of this country is in the thrall of the financial sector. We have a break to take. We soon come right back. Fitz, tell us where your action is now. Tell us whether there's any chance of getting that motion on the order paper in Parliament debated.
I don't think so. I really don't think so, regrettably. I have retabled the subsequently to its defeat since the last general election in September 2000. The following month in October, I retabled it, and I've kept it on the order paper consistently since then, so that the Parliament always have the opportunity to act on the bill. And you know what is also egregious, Ronnie? No member of the government have ever challenged one clause in that bill. Not one. They have not indicated any egregious clause in that bill. They just decide wholesale, in a wholesale way, that they are going to oppose it because the bank said from day one, they do not want any legislation that prohibits them from charging any fee. And the government has fallen line, lock, stock, barrel. All the members of the JLP voted against it. All the members of the PNP opposition voted for it. That is a matter of record. That's not an opinion. It's not debatable. And since it has been retabled, the Minister of Finance, the Prime Minister, or no other member has sought to subject that bill to a committee where each and every member would have the opportunity to examine each clause, to make any objection, to seek modification, or anything of the sort. But let me hasten to say too, when the bill was first drafted, because you know the gravamen of the bill came from a bipartisan parliamentary committee.
Yeah.
Led by Carl Samuda. Yes. When the bill was drafted, when I did the draft subsequent to no action, in order to preserve the non-partisan nature of it, in order to preserve the non-contentious nature of it amongst us as parliamentarians, I sent the draft bill to the then Minister of Finance, Auditor. I sent it to the Minister of Justice then, Chuck. I sent it to Carl Samuda, who had consumer affairs responsibility and who participated in the committee. I sent it to the Attorney General in its draft stage, not after it was tabled, in its draft stage, to invite any critique, any comment, any modification, so we could incorporate it and preserve the bipartisan nature of it. Not except for Carl Samuda, who sent it to the Consumer Affairs Committee for them to make comment. They did, and their comments were incorporated in that bill.
Wow.
None of them sought to modify it if they felt any provision in it was egregious. And that is one of the hurtful things about it. The government fall for what the banks want them to do, lock, stock, and barrel. And all the members of the JLP became part of their cheering crowd.
Let me ask you a question. How many times has that gone to Parliament?
It has only gone.
How many times has it voted on in Parliament?
One.
Right.
One.
And it can't vote again because your successor won't put it on.
No. So, wait a minute. When a bill comes to a Parliament and it is debated on both sides and put to a vote and the bill is rejected, it takes some time for that bill to ever come back to Parliament.
4 years?
Well,
come on,
Pearnel.
No, wait a minute.
You're not correct.
Just hear the point I'm making. When I was sitting in the chair, the same thing was happening in Britain.
So
wait.
No, why I must wait? Well,
but you don't know what I'm going to say, so you have to wait.
What you've said so far is incorrect, Pearnel.
No, I am just. Don't. If it was happening in the Commonwealth, you would listen, right?
No, but anyway, go on. Make your point.
No, I was saying that in my Parliament, if you come with a bill and it is voted by the government, the majority, right, you're not going to be able to bring it back next week.
No, but Pearnel, with all due respect,
next week.
So that's why. So the matter is dead.
With all due respect, Pearnel.
Well, it's voted out.
Okay.
Without a change. And that's why Fitz go back and review and come with almost an additional areas in it.
But it can't.
Of course it can be debated.
But it's not.
Well, you and I has been saying things about it.
Pearnel, if I may, you know as former speaker, the leader of government businesses who set the agenda for each sitting of House.
Yes.
Once you table a motion or a bill or any matter in the Parliament, it is the leader of government business that sets the agenda.
Yes.
And if they don't want it to be debated, they don't put it on the agenda.
I left 23 motions undebated.
That first debate.
Yeah.
So it's all in the government's call. The reason why it's not up for debate and voted on, because the government don't want it to be debated or voted on again.
And why does
I have no doubt that what you are saying is correct. That the government does not want to debate it again.
I'm interested
because it was debated already and voted out.
And I want to ask why. Because and the clear answer, which the public of this country, who are the ones who have to pay the fees and chups their teeth and cuss a bad word and just suck it up, buy less in the supermarket or send them picnics to school more hungry because the money's short. Yes, a little money short.
Ronnie, say things like that.
The reason they're doing it is because this government acts at the behest of the financial sector. Yes.
The financial sector is part of their ideology.
Yeah, and that is so clear. The Minister of Finance has said that clearly. And I am saying...
A private sector situation where you are not in the private sector business.
No, I am saying that the people of this country have no hope of a better life so long as that continues.
No, Ronnie. How many people go to the bank with a check to ask for a change and to pay it? How many people do that?
Look at what it is. Jamaica has one of the largest unbanked population, and the government has been bending over backwards in order to help people to become banked. Why don't they want to become banked? One reason is because they don't trust the banks, and they don't trust the government either, because they know that what they are supposed to get and not get. The thing is bad, Pearnel. Fitz, help me.
But Ronnie, Pearnel.
What percentage of your check they take, Fitz?
Take $385 out of
what percentage of that?
It doesn't matter what
I
percentage.
don't know. 385 is 385.
Let me tell you why. Ronnie asked a question.
99% is neither here nor there.
Ronnie asked a question.
Which is?
He wants to know why anything should be paid in a bank.
No.
Well,
No. I'm saying
Ronnie.
Nothing should be paid from a check that you go to the bank.
No, I'm not saying that. But
What are you saying?
I am saying the bank must earn their money from the arbitrage of deposits.
That's what I'm asking you.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I am saying to you and Fitz, when you go to the bank with a check, and the bank must take the insurance of the check,
no, it doesn't.
take the security of the check,
none of that.
get it transferred,
None of that happens.
get it secure.
Mm-hmm. So look,
they're not to get any money.
No,
from
I
it.
didn't say that.
Oh, you're someone like Nigel Clark, no, Pearnel.
You're trivializing the issue to
Very much, and it's not just regrettable, Pearnel. Don't go down that road.
So what's happening with the case, Fitz?
Ronnie, in terms of the matter before the court.
Uh-huh.
Matter before the court is not whether or not the charge is fair or unreasonable.
Yeah.
That's not what is before the court.
Yes, I understand.
Before the House is for the removal of the fee for those reasons.
Right.
And being unfair and unreasonable. The matter before the court is that the imposition of the charge by the bank or banks is a breach of existing legislation.
Yes.
So I'm not asking the court to render judgment on whether or not the charge was reasonable or not.
Okay.
The existing legislation on the Bill of Bills of Exchange Act make it clear what the obligation of the banks are in respect of a check. And my contention, and that's supported by my lawyers, is that it is in breach of the existing law. Therefore, the charge by the banks for encashment of checks is an illegal act. It is a breach of the law. It's a criminal act. Would you believe me, Pearnel and Ronnie, that I never just jumped to the court, I asked the governor of the Bank of Jamaica from the 11th of January to provide an opinion, which I expect them to get legally, as to whether or not that specific charge is a breach of that particular act.
Oh.
The governor failed to respond to that question after months of reminders and repeat when he came back to the Parliament on the 4th of May this year. Not one response from the governor and the Bank of Jamaica as yet.
So who is he defending?
Having failed to get a response from the governor and the Bank of Jamaica.
Yes.
I tabled the question in a question to the Minister of Finance.
Right.
The Minister prefaced his response to the question.
Yes. Tell us.
Justify why the banks are charging the fee. And to tell me that this is a practice of the industry. I never asked him about a practice. I asked him about whether or not it was a breach of the law. So he traveled around the world in his argument. And when I came back and said, Minister, is this a breach of the law? He said, no. I then asked him, from where did you get that legal advice? Is it the Attorney General's chamber? He refused to answer. So obvious it was that the Pearnel successor in the chair, the Speaker, had to insert herself to say, Minister, the member's question is clear. Did you get the advice that you have given him from the Attorney General's chamber? And up to now, he has refused to answer.
Well, let me ask you a question, Chris.
One second, Pearnel. I reminded the minister that when a question is tabled in the House,
yes,
a question to the government through that minister
need answer.
Two, the legal advisor to the government is the Attorney General's chamber. So if I pose a question to him in the House, not outside, he has an obligation to get an official advice from the Attorney General's chamber. And he could not and refused to say where he got his legal advice from.
That's a question. That's a question on the other paper.
Alternative than to go straight to the court.
Yeah.
That's a question on the other paper.
Yes, it was on the other paper.
Yes.
Well, and
Look here, where are we beating around the bush? It is clear who the government defend. It is clear who are the victims. Yes. So what it is? You are the only consistent, not the only, but the main consistent advocate of this, and it is a shame, and it is indicative of an ideological position, which in fact places the ordinary consumer in dealing with the all-powerful financial sector at a chronic and continuing rapacious disadvantage. Yes, with which parallels of the slave order and the plantation society could be made.
boy, that sounds so
That is
good.
the reason why the 60th anniversary.
That presentation,
so true.
That presentation,
Tell me his lie.
so good.
Tell me his lie.
But I ask a simple question.
Yeah.
You said it that it is a conflict of ideology.
Yeah.
So one party supports the private sector, and one does not.
No, I don't. I reject that.
Well, are you saying that the bank in this position is not a private sector position?
No, the private sector is clear, but I do not believe in an unregulated private sector.
But you agree it's a private sector situation.
They are members of the private sector, but the private sector in no society that is just can exist.
I'm not asking what they shouldn't do. I'm asking as is.
No, but all right. So as is wrong. Look at what's happening to people. What is as is now is wrong, and therefore it is the purpose of government in any society to protect the majority of the people. Is the government doing that in this instance? Absolutely not.
Randy, I'm in support of that,
Okay.
I am simply saying that it is an ideological position that you are fighting in the parliament.
No, Pearnel. That's a distraction, with all due respect. That's a convenient distraction. We have a specific matter before the parliament to act upon that is affecting people's lives, including people in the business sector, including the private sector. Small businesses, micro businesses, individuals are suffering. So this is not no private sector, non-private sector issue. It's a question of fair and what is legal or not legal. It's as simple as that. Don't combobulate the argument with ideological question.
No, I'm not asking about whatever question you want to ask. This item that is before the parliament about the bank's situation, it's running made it as an ideological position. And I have I don't know why you say it's not, because the JLP is defending it as a private sector situation where they have the right to do certain things.
It's not Pearnel, because members of the private sector has also been affected by the practice of the banks as institutions. So this is not no private sector against private sector or not. Small and micro businesses are part of the private sector.
How are we going to change this, Pearnel?
Deeply affected.
How are we going to change it? Because really and truly it's bad, to me it's indicative of a whole position that is money and money man rule this society, and that is what so many young people, so many of the alienated Jamaican people who are just feel. They feel they have no justice. That is why they teach them. That is why the nurses them. That is why anybody with any ambition will look for go away. That is why people get vexed, and I'm not excusing it one bit, but get vexed and do things they shouldn't do. And that is why many of us, and me included, have a sense that those who have power use that power to disable rather than enable. What a life.
And that's the reason why when we talk even in this period about emancipation and independence, and we make these good sounding statements. In most instances, we're being hypocritical, because we see things like these which runs counter to what an independent and emancipated society would be, and we keep quiet and dance around it and make some silly excuses and justification that preserves the order which is unjust.
Well, Fitz, when you get back
this period, hypocritical.
When you get back to the parliament, you need to tell your colleagues on your side that Rani and myself is fighting harder than them. It's you alone are here fighting.
You don't need me to go to parliament and tell them.
Get them come out to join us. Because I am joining you, I'm simply saying one point clear. If I get a check and I have an account at a bank, and I go there, I can deposit a check in my account and take it back same time without a cost. And hold on, and if I don't have an account there, and I'm going with a check in my name.
Yeah. But
the bank needs certain protection.
Okay, and we all want to be fair, and it's unfairness that we're complaining about. Yeah. But I have a big problem, Fitz, Pearnel. A broad question, raw question, simple. How come a half of the Jamaican people have struggled to find dinner? Yeah, we know, undeniable. Yeah. And the banks are able to rake in billions and billions of profits, yes, much of which they take out of Jamaica. And that is normal, that is right, that is indicative of a working, prosperous economic system. I say that is sinful, mortally sinful.
I'll make it clear. I am not here to defend the bank in what you are saying. And I will simply say the bank is also one of the companies that are doing what you are saying. And they come and they invest in there. The same thing happens in I don't want to call names, but there are many doing the same thing. So and it doesn't justify it because there are many doing it. One must do it.
But these are the ones with whom we repose our savings. We don't have any choice. You can't keep it under the mattress or in your bosom anymore.
I'm going to do one little survey and come back to you. Yeah. I want to know what amount of people who have savings in bank go to a bank account and money draw.
If they don't,
I want to get that clear.
Look.
I don't believe it's half.
We can help you. Every time the bank puts out their financial results, Fitz, I used to compare a program with Ralston Hyman, and we would look at the proportion of the bank profits that came from fees. Yes, and what has happened is that now the high interest rate era is over. The banks are have simply transferred their usury from interest rate gains to bank fees. That is all.
There's a plain truth of it.
Plain truth.
Allow me to speak.
I can't defend that because I don't know. No, but I'm
telling you.
Out. Yeah.
No, the records are there, Pearnel. It's not a matter whether you feel. So check the records.
This is what Parliament's supposed to have to debate about. This is what if you don't go there and find the occasion to talk about it. It's one of the reasons I left, because you couldn't even get a word. Yes, not your fault always, Speaker Charles, to talk about the things that really nudge people and hurt them. Yes, the government no want to talk about that. Yeah, neither of us.
But me and you know the politics of the parliament.
And I'm saying politics supposed to help.
But I don't think that Fitz is using the politics of the parliament. Fitz can be himself alone with a little thing saying, if you really want, get your colleagues to get up with stand up and get a thing to
You must be right. But even if all of the PNP parliamentarians stood up in one chorus supporting Fitz next week Tuesday or whenever the parliament decides to sit, yes, it would do would stiffen the resolve and the stubbornness and the arrogance of the people on the other side.
Pearnel, don't worry, don't let us play games with this thing. I have said to the Prime Minister, put the bill to a vote and remove the whip from your members. Because the truth of the matter, many of the members on the JLP side supports the bill.
Of course.
Many senior members of the cabinet supports the bill. It's the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance that apply the whip. So no matter what you cry, they're not going to do it and allow them to do it unless they're willing to do it. That's the reality of it, Pearnel.
Well, Fitz, you have to live with that,
No.
Yeah.
I don't have to live with that.
No. If the government with a majority in Parliament takes a position on an item, whether it is bank's fee or whatever it is, to give or not to give.
The rest of us must suck it up.
No. But I'm not saying we are not sucking it up.
No.
I mean, are you spitting it out here?
Right. True.
Okay.
True.
But let me tell you, Pearnel, I am not joining that.
Some of these people, neither spitting out nor sucking up. Well, so him need to get them do something.
Oi, what a thing. And if people were just honest to themselves and true to their oath, it could make such a difference. Instead of all the outrider and the siren and the pretty car and the most honorable this. Oh my God, man. Sure, come we just deal with each other. Fair enough.
I don't think I need to take away that from them. I didn't take it away from the guys of the past who have struggled and put us where we are.
But
so I don't see why I want to take it away.
But what? Because they're struggling against us now.
Oh, like who?
But weird times when we're struggling against us.
Anybody who votes against Fitz Jackson bill is struggling against the people of this country, Pearnel. Simple as that. There's no excuse, not even to sit down and say, come we compromise the bill and come we do this. Oddly sure, we in the parliament that you and I sat in along with Fitz said that they were going to do a study and come back in a year and report on it, and that most of the things that Fitz was embodying in his motion were already being done. Remember, Fitz?
Yes.
Yes, I remember it. I've checked the record. Nothing like that done. Nothing. Complete breach.
No, that's what Fitz should have in Parliament. Item by item.
Yeah, but it hasn't happened. Can't go.
No,
can't even reach first base.
Pearnel, you know what is sad about what you just said?
Yes.
What I should do, and you're not talking about what them should do to support what I have done. So you put me now. I'm the one that is failing because I don't do that. When they have done nothing, they are the ones that should be pointing finger at.
Look, we support you in your advocacy, Mr. Jackson, and really, I am anxious that citizens groups, civil society, I'm obliged to have less of a hope in the political activism anymore, although I don't discount it fully. But I would really like to say that people in various groupings, consumers, justice advocates, religious people, everyone need to support the better calibration of equity in terms of the relationship of the ordinary Jamaican and the banking system.
And I just want to add to say,
yeah, man, you would
that
correctly.
What is there, more people need to examine it, and more people of high regards need to express themselves so that we know from where we're going. That is not just a one-man or a political battle.
Fitz Jackson.
Can I ask this question of you, Pearnel?
Go ahead.
The comments you have made since the beginning of this program where I have been on, is it reasonable for me to conclude that you now have regrets for not having supported the bill while you were in Parliament, and you're calling upon your colleagues who remain in Parliament to now support it? Would that be a reasonable
Fitz, let me answer by saying this. You are a senior parliamentarian. And when you were there, you have voted against the state of emergency. When the police asked for 3 weeks, because the leader of the PNP said no, you said no too. So when the government... Hold on.
That's not true.
Hold on.
Let me
finish the point. When the leader of government business where I sat, and the Minister of Finance where I sat, speak for the government, you expect me to get up and say, Prime Minister, no sense. Minister of Finance, no sense. I have sense. This is what I want. You wouldn't get that.
That's not what I expected you to say, Pearnel. This is what I expected you to say.
Yes.
As a conscience, while the government and the Prime Minister has taken this position, my conscience cannot allow me to support it.
Fitz Jackson, thanks very much for all you have done today. Time is upon us. Thanks again. We follow what's taking place and support you. Thanks again. Fitz Jackson, Member of Parliament for South St. Catherine and advocate for the people's rights in relation to the banking fees. Soon come back. This is the Public Eye on the Bridge. Thanks very much for being with us. This is the Public Eye and the Open Mind on the Bridge 99 FM. We'll soon be linking with the Global Connection and Erwin Clare and Ira Jam Radio in New York. Honorable Pearnel Charles, while we're waiting, this week we had some difficult news. The public poll, highly regarded Anderson poll in Jamaica. The word is that the Jamaican public don't trust either the Minister of National Security or the Commissioner of Police, and have a very low regard for the police, less so, but significantly so, of the army. How can national security prevail with that kind of viewpoint? What's the background? Is it real?
Have you heard why? Have you heard why?
No. Tell me why.
Well, because they feel that they are not, the minister and the police is not taking the crime people off of them.
Well, that's another thing.
No, but that's the only reason.
We're joining our friends in New York. Erwin Clare, greetings.
Greetings, my friends, Mr. Pearnel Charles Sr. and Reverend Ronald Thwaites. Welcome to Ira Jam 93.5, the tri-state area and beyond.
And welcome to the Bridge 99 here in the sunny Isle of Jamaica, where with all our problems, the sun still shines, the fields are green, and the black of our pride is flying from our flagstaffs.
The same can be said here for the red, white, and blue. Challenges abound, but people still have to go out and make opportunities for their families and their loved ones as they prepare for back to school and other activities that are synonymous at this time of year. What a blow.
Erwin, I saw the greatest shocking story this morning coming from your country.
Which one of those now?
Some schools are unable to open. I will not be able to open because of a shortage of teachers.
No, you understand why the grass is green on this side and folks in Jamaica looks at it as opportunistic?
No. I can say to my people in Jamaica, if America don't have any teachers and Americans are prepared to pay what Jamaican teachers are calling money, and they are here as good teachers earning, what they say, little or nothing, we are the one in trouble. America don't have the teachers and have the money. Our teachers are going to go to America.
So, what would be the proper response? Because the same thing is true of the nurses. I saw a news item that New York City alone needs 7,000 nurses.
That's right.
Right now.
That's right.
That's New York City alone. So,
you know, Ronnie, I think it comes back down to we know these things are going to happen.
Yeah.
So therefore, we have to engage the process and see how we can negotiate opportunities for some form of reciprocity that exists. But if we wait for it to happen and then be on the back pedal, then the opportunities are lost.
So if it were, if maybe put something forward, gentlemen, because I think the opportunity as well lies in us saying, no, everybody who has the desire to teach and has, even if you don't have the matriculatable subjects, come and let's join in, let's cram our teachers' colleges, understanding that a proportion of those who are trained will go abroad.
Yes.
Do the same for our nurses.
Yes.
I don't agree with Minister Tufton, who normally I think does a good job. Yes, when he says he's going to send nurses abroad in the hope that they will come back, they're not. That won't happen. Okay?
Not
in
the short space of time.
Not in the short run. What we need to do is to do what President Obama came here and told us that we ought to be doing. Training for export. Now, we are short, but where is a national endeavor where we have people who are struggling, young people who, if they see a path in life, locally and foreign, we can share their talents locally. The state pays for your teacher education or your nurse's education. You got to give us 3 years of service, properly bonded, and then you can go. Yes, and you have a coherent a human resource plan from there which benefits from the opportunity of your nearest neighbor.
May I tell you something quickly?
How about that?
It's not only nurses and teachers.
No.
I was Minister of Labor and Social Security.
Right.
And thousands of workers in Jamaica, some of them never even know a farm, are being called to go to Canada and America.
Wonderful.
Farm workers. What have we done? We have to gather them together. We have to teach them some farming. We have to let them join RADA.
Make sure they don't run away.
We have a problem, Ronnie.
Yeah, we do.
Many of our masons and carpenters and others are gone as farm workers.
So then don't.
But gentlemen, we see this building boom taking place in Jamaica. both from the state, and especially from the state, when we look at the monstrosities in the hotel structures that are going up and we see hotel rooms and all that. And on one side, it's good. But the point is that if we're going to be having these build-outs and highways being built, are there also that kind of plan forward for the workers that will be required in these industry so that they can fulfill not just the job to be flag persons, but the technical side of the trade as well? Are we encouraging and ensuring that our high schools and our not just path, because we need to have persons involved that have the technicality so they can have those type of quality jobs that are coming on board?
Clearly not.
We're going to be bringing them in.
Clearly not. I would.
Darwin, let me hit Ronnie. I'm going to hit him right in his jaw, because his ministry, Minister of Education, had established that. So in the sixth form, there were technical drawings, mechanics, all sorts of things, and swoop, stop.
Yep.
And you weren't the one who stopped it.
No. But I have my share of responsibility. And what I want to do now is to say, if Jamaica has a need for 5,000 masons, come, let's train 10,000, no? Yes, and understand that 5,000 will go to Canada, the United States, Guyana. Yes. What do we have? We're short of natural resources, but we're rich with people. Yes. Where is
what we're short of, Ronnie, is training centers.
No,
well, hold on. Remember, you and I discussed this with the head of the building and construction people.
Yes.
I said that there are many. Some goes on the construction site. Yeah. Some go into extra 2 hours, 3 hours.
So what is the plan?
Some go high school.
What is the plan?
And we have the population.
Yes.
And this is where the boys who don't have anything to do.
No. So exactly, sir. Lord,
not the boys alone. Women too.
Of course.
But you know, gentlemen, we do have high schools that have come up with these programs.
Yeah.
And the question that begs itself, what kind of external and emphasis by the authorities and the policymakers that they're putting in place to ensure that they have the persons in place to teach these subjects.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's not kid ourselves.
It's not a talking thing.
No, but the schools have these programs already, but they're lacking in the professional stuff.
If you just took nursing education as an example, I'm sorry, we're hearing you speak on our air, please. Erwin, if we took nursing education, we claim that we can't train more nurses because we don't have nursing instructors. My Lord, let us bring them and train the nurses so that in fact we are going to be in a position to fulfill our need and also to fulfill an external demand. That is what the Cubans have done, you know.
You have taken it out of my mouth.
Yes.
How the Cubans have an abundance of trained nurses and others that they can send to every African country around the world.
You know why, Mr. Charles?
Yes.
They were fed lemons and they made lemonade.
Well,
when America blocked them and they were stuck with all these lemons, they made lemonade and they made it marketable.
That sounds good. And that's a message that you need to send right through the system, not only in Jamaica. Because you remember I told her, Ronnie, that when I was minister, Mexico was sending people to Canada to find out what are you going to want so we can train them.
Have we done that?
Done what?
Well,
we haven't even identified.
Well, this is it, because I think
the opportunity
indeed,
exists.
but this is facing us now, because what is happening is we are getting reports that some schools in Jamaica are almost all of the staff have gone. You know, Erwin. One of the schools, I won't call a name, but perhaps the highest rated school in Jamaica, high school, is looking at 25 members of staff gone. There's another college in the parish that you used to represent, Pearnel.
Yes.
Well known, yes? 1/5 of their teaching staff has left them between June and now. And the sad part of it, the troublesome, is that the resignations usually come at the end of August. We've not reached that yet, so it's going to be even more acute than we think. We have a serious problem. No one is blaming anybody for the problem. Least of all am I blaming Minister Williams. She's trying so hard. She has a doubly difficult task than the one I had when I was in the seat she now occupies. I acknowledge that. But what I want to see is a plan to do something about it.
But let me ask you a question. Right in your forehead.
Right.
As government,
Yes.
you are going to sit back and watch your thousands of teachers walk out of the classroom, leave your children in the desk without teachers, and go on abroad so they'll give more money. And if you train them free?
So what?
I'm asking you.
No.
No.
You're not going to. Oh, okay.
But that is what is happening now, and nothing is being done.
But you know,
that is exactly what is the position now.
I back up what Erwin is saying. Train more. But I am saying you can't say because you want more money and America want teachers. You and that is where people say they say I'm unpatriotic. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you were trained free.
But Mr. Charles, time out. You see, we talk about the bonded piece there. For a teacher to really maximize on their opportunities in the education system in the United States, to go further, and if they were to stay in the United States, they have to satisfy the bond, the financial bond they have on them in Jamaica. So the free portion, I agree with you. They would have spent time in the system prior to coming, because many teachers living in many cases are some of our seasoned teachers too that have probably have done more than 3 years in the system here. But they still may owe monies to the ministry, which they pay in order for them to be fully accredited within the system in the United States. So that aspect of it, sir, they are satisfying that.
The American Teachers Association will come here and say, how much you owe? I owe 10,000. Here, 10,000, come with me.
No.
They can buy it out.
But
I am saying that the government of Jamaica has a responsibility.
Sure. So,
not to leave the classroom empty.
No. So therefore, what are we going to do? September morning is 3 weeks away. Many of the diaspora people, Pearnel, that are listening to us on Irwin Station and otherwise, are sending money back, working out their soul case to fill barrel and to send Western Union or whatever.
For children to go to school.
For children to go to school and not teach on the day. Now I'm saying what let us face this, because in this crisis there is, as we were pointing out, opportunity. Okay?
Indeed.
There is. Now we have
the opportunity is not immediate.
Not immediate.
You can't teach the teachers.
Bring out the retired teachers.
Right.
Yes, bring back. If we can use the virtual capacity that COVID opened to us, instead of every primary school trying to have the best literacy and numeracy teacher and Spanish teacher, can we develop first class lessons, Jamaican Khan Academy, just to borrow a comparison, and beam this to every school so that people have a chance. Who parson and elder in church, who have discipline and order. Yes, even if they're not teachers, can we get them in the classroom so that at least the students have order and not waiting on Senor to come? National mobilization, which one side cannot do.
You ask the right question, but you can't get the right answers from me.
All right, gentlemen.
I'm asking the same question.
No, we are together on this.
Listen. I can only hope that because you guys, have your roots in respective parties, that they're listening to both of you right now and taking you serious. But anyway, we have to take something serious here, and that is a global break.
We'll be back on the Global Connection. This is the Bridge 99 of the Public Eye.
Welcome back to the Global Connection. In this connection, of course, we have the Public Eye. It's an open mind with our friends from the Bridge 99, Pearnel Charles and Reverend Ronnie Thwaites. We welcome you back, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. We're happy to be with you, and we want to extend the passage of information, of analysis of things Jamaican to our lovers all over the world. Here we have a guest today, Erwin, coming up soon.
I gather that was the case, Ronnie. We're trying to locate that person. But in the meantime,
plenty to go.
Yes. In the meantime, the subject we're talking about also brought about another challenge that we have now faced. And I say challenge from the positive side because I think there's a learning experience here. And this is coming from some comments made last week, gentlemen, by the Deputy Mayor of Montego Bay, as it relates to a headline in the Gleaner, which there seem to be some challenges that is alleged statements that those of us who migrate are cowards. Now, I'm quite certain that the perspective which was said, obviously, was not necessarily construed in the article. But it has caused a barnstorm of commentary in the diaspora.
Oh.
And I think while I look at it...
This is a Councillor Vernon?
Yes,
the
in
Deputy
Montego
Mayor
Bay.
of Montego Bay.
Yes. And the statements there had to do with, cowards being associated with those who would have left Jamaica from that perspective. What I take from that is that it's obvious that there are some concerns in the relationship, and I think it's an opportune time for sensitivity, understanding. I would say training, understanding, and it just begs to the fact too that just how, based on your persona and where you may be, how your opinions may differ on situations. Because I'm not going to jump back to say, well, they send remittances home, because that's a worn out statement. But the point is this, is that if people feel it necessary to leave our island, many times it's for economic purposes or it's to further their horizon. That's the natural, that's the God-given right of an individual to choose wherever they may go. What I can observe and say to Jamaicans, listen to us, Jamaicans at home, listen to us right now, is that most of the Jamaicans in the high 90s recognize their responsibility to their homeland. That's where I sit, and if we came as cowards, if that was the intention, it was because we wanted to better ourselves and in so doing better in our nation. And I think that Jamaica requires portions of its nationals to go overseas and better themselves. As one person said to me, in this case then, Professor Harris was a coward when he left Orange Hill in St. Anne and bore 2 children in America, one of who is now the Vice President of the United States, who incidentally a couple of weeks ago extended some monies on Independence Day for a cybersecurity apparatus for Jamaica. Okay, they just use that as an example.
Erwin,
So it has evoked some negativities, but I think it can be a teaching moment and an opportunity.
Erwin,
What you say, Mr. Charles?
Let me say this to you. I'm a little worried as to why you and others would make what is said by a councillor more important than what the Prime Minister, the government, leaders, former government ministers, former MPs are saying. We spend more time on that small negative. I'm not saying more people might think that way, but most of us know that the Jamaicans who have traveled abroad have been gold investment to Jamaica, both in education, both in food, both in development, both in everything. I and Ronnie Thwaites, who sit here, was privileged to go overseas and get our education. If we didn't have that opportunity, we would never come back here. So don't allow any one item to move about millions of items. You, Erwin, me, and Ronnie, who is saying thanks to those of you who are there and still carrying a burden in every parish. In this very program, we have people from Westmoreland, from Hanover, from St. Elizabeth, who were born there, who are still carrying a burden for not only their family, but for communities. So don't allow one rubbish to smell stink on all of us.
Yeah, and that's why I say it's a teaching moment. But you will accept the fact that when you have headlines that goes out like that, especially in the environment we live in today, the responses that you'll get, and so leaders must be more sensitive, because a leader don't have private opinions in public. A leader, when he goes out to speak, even though he may be in a certain context, what he or she is saying, they have to be very careful, because these are the kind of things that we know spend unnecessary time on. But like I said, it's opportunistic as a teaching moment.
Erwin, you are right. And let me add one point, because I tried to say this to Ronnie about 5 weeks ago. I want us to think about it. Do the printed press, do those of us who are carrying news have responsibility in what we put out in terms of the damage it does for countries? Am I trying to control the press? No. But I am saying that the press must have a responsibility too in what they present. Because an item like that damages all that the Prime Minister said, all that opposition leader was over there saying the other day, all that you and I have been saying, one item saying, born or coward, rubbish. But it's not him alone think so. But more of us believe, Erwin, that thank God that the Jamaicans who have left here has improved themselves and helping us to improve ourselves, our communities, and family in Jamaica.
Owen, I'm glad that you've raised this issue because it allows people of the strength and background of Pearnel Charles to speak as passionately as he has, and I adopt and associate all that he has said. I thought that from a media point of view, this was a throwaway statement by a gentleman who I'm sure...
You never heard about him before.
No, and not only that, I don't think he occupies... Well, his views have been given disproportionate prominence. And if having been said and put out there in the way that it was, I would have been happy. I'm not blaming him now. I would have been happy if the Prime Minister just said, listen, I just wanted to let everybody know that this does not represent any kind of widespread or government position. Done. Okay. Yes? No, that hasn't happened, but we, for our part, are saying it straight. Let us understand, Jamaica has its wholesome future lies in being a nation without borders. Yes?
That is the word.
And that therefore we have to there will always be rubs and abrasions, but we have to craft a society, an order, a mental construct where people come and go as their interests and as the needs of the country and their families and communities require. Mm-hmm. Yes, mm-hmm. And gentlemen, in fact, we need to do. I refer again this nonsense where somebody who's a citizen of the United States can't sit in our parliament. It would be lovely if the dissonance caused by this statement would propel the government to say, look, we're going to deal with that.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, and on one of the things, and gentlemen, I just want to give the opportunity to our listeners because this is something that has, been said a lot in our community. I want to give them the opportunity to, if they have questions. And our telephone numbers in New York, 888-546-8742. That's 888-546-8742 if you wish to make a comment and share your comments on this, what we're talking about. But, you're absolutely correct. I think there are those who have said that at a minimum, those who are charged with the ministry of where the diaspora falls under, at least make a statement to that. Because, you see, it is said, and whether it was intended or not, it has fueled conversations around a subject here that has been very touchy and if not handled properly can just lead astray at a time when we need a kind of unity in our community. I don't know if studio, do we have anyone online who would like to make a comment? We go to the line. Welcome, caller. Welcome, caller.
While you have getting somebody on the line, Erwin, I remind...
I'm here, Erwin.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, we're hearing you. Go right ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Erwin, good afternoon. And good afternoon, Brother Thwaites. How are you? This is Patrick Beckford.
Hi, how are you, sir?
We also have Mr. Pearnel Charles, too,
Oh, okay, Brother Charles. I've never had the privilege of meeting you, but, I'm long time in the business. But this is I was very annoyed personally and feel offended personally by the missed and unfortunate statement of the Deputy Mayor of Montego Bay, bordering my parish, Trelawney. But, I go back and I think both gentlemen is aware of Jeremiah 29 when God spoke about the diaspora. And in the Bible itself, people have been moving since Adam and Eve from place to place. So this is commonality. And what I want the gentleman to know, and I know he's probably junior in age, but he's a very smart person, should understand that when you speak with knowledge and just don't do the stupidity of that unfortunate statement. And, it doesn't escape the mind that he was speaking at an event where they were collecting or distributing stuff for students back to school. So my issue with this statement is, one, we are ambassadors here. Every day that Erwin Clear or Patrick Beckford or any within our community are engaged in anything, first of all, we can't hide that accent, and a lot of us have Jamaican across our chest. So we are ambassadors representing them. So how can you have a cowardice as ambassadors? I recall Ronnie, I don't know if you know about the Northwest Seminary in Michigan. I was invited to be the guest preacher for a young man who was being ordained.
Oh.
I walked up there. Yes. I walked up there, and as I was approaching the pulpit, you know what dawned on me? I said, my God, here's this young man from Falmouth, run around, usually give trouble, in terms of, and it's good trouble, because we were community aware in the 60s, 70s as a young kid growing up. And here am I to deliver an ordination sermon.
Yes.
In front of the luminaries of theology in one of the premier centers of the Protestant religion. So where is the cowardice come from when Erwin Clear over the years has been leading and feeding our athletes as they come up here organizing fundraisers, laboring day and night? Where is the cowardice when we have even a consul general who migrated and is doing a stellar job as consul general in New York? Where is the cowardice in the plethora of people? And I see we're going to honor, his government is going to honor Sandra Lindsay for her work during COVID. Where is the cowardice who raised over $350,000 in a radiothon for our brothers and sisters back home? And the vexing thing, and I know you guys mentioned it, is neither the minister who is in charge of diaspora affairs or the prime minister who from time to time comes here and visits and laud the diaspora and talk about remittances and everything. Like sometimes we feel like we're the philanthropic class of Jamaicans. So, that is and then he made some feeble attempt to say point fingers, and he's not saying that, and it talks about his family and everything. We need more responsible leadership.
Let me ask you this, Patrick. Patrick, we hear the angst. We hear the angst. We hear the angst. But these are the silver lining that turns up in dark clouds. How do we know quickly? And we have a few moments to go before the break. Quickly, what would be your suggestion? How do we use this as a teaching moment? Because we have to come out of this on the positive side.
I think the very fact of what Patrick Beckford is saying is doing that, Erwin.
Exactly.
Yeah, and people, I think he's representing here and joining with us in sentiments that are positive and setting straight whatever might have been in the mind, doubtful in the minds either of people on your side or indeed on our side. We have to stop that. We are brothers and sisters wherever we live, and we want to bring out the best in us. We who are people of faith are interested in the flourishing of humankind. That is the supreme gift that the Spirit gives to the people of Jamaica. Don't let's squander it by any negative comments.
But Ronnie, please do not yourself, do not turn your mind from the fact that there are those in the society who are going to be constantly making negative comments.
True.
And there's nothing you can do to stop that, except you see the majority comments are more and from higher level. then
And
don't kill yourself.
And teaching little children what is the best principle.
Indeed.
Exactly.
Patrick, what you say?
My thing, Ronnie, is that the essence of Jeremiah 29 is God was saying to us,
Yes.
He put us here for a reason.
Yes.
That's the essence of the message. He puts us here for a reason. And the reason is that so that we didn't turn our back on our country and our brothers and sisters who probably need a helping hand. Majority of us are doing. And so that he has to, I'd like to preach to him about Jeremiah 29 and let him learn the lesson.
All right.
I love that.
All right. Listen. Pearnel, we're outnumbered here by pastors. We're gonna have so in this case, let me insert something here.
Pearnel a big LA, you know.
Oh, then I am outnumbered.
Man run it. Tell her that mama wanted me to be a pastor.
Oh, wanted to. Anyway, gentlemen, we're up on a break. Patrick Beckford, thank you very much for your contribution. So,
Good
Ronnie,
to
I
hear from
understand
you.
that. I understand we come back from the break.
And have a good day, guys.
All right. I understand we come back from the break. We have our guest on, so we'll be able to speak to her for a few moments. We'll be taking a break right now. The global link here on Irie Jam 93.5 and the Bridge 99 FM in Jamaica. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Global Connection. The public eye, of course, is an open mind connecting with 93.5 Irie Jam in New York, the Bridge 99 FM with Mr. Pearnel Charles, Mr. Ronnie Thwaites. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Tell us about the nice lady you have at hand.
Well, Miss Simone Myrie Dawson was born in the parish of Westmoreland in the Hertford district. She migrated to the United States of America 20 years ago, where she now resides as a citizen of the country. Her life's involvement and passion has been centered around entrepreneurship and philanthropy, as she has engaged in authoring several publications and undertaking numerous charitable undertakings in Jamaica, Nigeria, and in the rest of the world. We welcome Miss Simone Myrie Dawson. Good day, Miss Dawson.
Hello there. How are you doing?
Good day, Miss Dawson. And I want to know why they don't quarrel when I say, all a woman like you should have never left me, boy. We want you back.
This is public radio now, sir.
Well, look how the woman pretty. Look all that she has done in Jamaica and over there.
Yes.
You see?
Miss
There's
Simone.
a positive and a nice way of saying it.
Thank you.
Miss Simone,
Thank you.
you come from Hartford, me come from Kindown. And I just want to tell you that you have to be careful of these middle-aged sweet boys like Charles, you know.
It's so funny enough. I growing up listening to you, Ronnie Thwaites on the radio.
Really? Thank you very much. You see how we turn old.
Yes,
I
very.
miss the Colonel Charles also. I was always astonished about your brain here.
Yes.
You see how easy him stay out and win?
Politicians, man.
Yeah, man.
Anyway,
Simone, tell us your story. Tell us the journey from Hartford to New York.
So my journey from Jamaica, it was a very interesting journey. I spent several years working with the government at the tax office as one of the collectorate in Westmoreland. And I decided to open my wings for greener pasture, which is America. So my journey began there. I came here and I started studying. I always wanted to become a lawyer, but somehow healthcare snatched me away. Probably I walk in the hands of walk with my mother, because my mother, she was a nurse also in Westmoreland, Jamaica. So that's where it started. Being in the nursing field, it was quite challenging at first, of everything that is happening. I was one of the frontline workers during COVID, and that was really scary for me. During COVID, it's gonna take me a while to go back, because for me, working in COVID have given me a new perspective of life. I have valued things more. I have seen people died around me, just 1, 2, 3 going on.
Oh my.
At COVID, I had to start seeking therapy. I started to do online therapy because it started to take a toll on me, because of the strain of work. And at first we healthcare in New York. We didn't know what it was. We didn't know what to do. I remember at one point in time, I had to use garbage bags as my covering to go into work.
Really? Oh my goodness.
Yes. It was very hard, and I had to sleep in my husband had to push the sofa in the hallway for me, because I cannot come in the house.
Yeah.
Because infected them and my daughter, my husband and my daughter. And it was quite scary. I had to live in my hallway like for a good couple months. And after I had to sleep in my car for a couple of months because I had to be at work. So I had to park and I had to sleep in the car.
You know, we've forgotten how
no one wants to come close to me.
No.
So it was quite scary. After the first 6 months, it was taking a really big toll on my mental health. I had to stop, take a break, and do online therapy just to be sane.
Well, that's such a poignant story, you know. But tell me, you one of your releases, your emotional, your intellectual, spiritual releases, that you write a lot.
Yeah, I do write a lot. I started writing from I was a small girl in Westmoreland. My grandmother, which is Rose Palmer, which is my mother, she loved to write. So at that time, they used to have parchment paper. I don't know if you remember those paper. They would write on those little parchment paper, little gems, and they would put it in our little sack. We used to have a lunch pan. And, you know those metal lunch pans?
Yes, miss.
Right. So in it, we used to have peanut butter and jelly sandwich with lemonade, frozen lemonade, right? So she would put small little gems and would be like, I love you, do well in school, make me proud. You know, these little gems. And she would teach us to have beautiful handwritings. And she would say, whatever comes to your mind, just put it down on a paper.
Really?
That time I used to, she used to give me those little, you know, back to school, they used to purchase this whole sack of paper to wrap our books. So she used to cut up a piece and she would like glue them together. And she would say, this is your book that you need to write your thoughts in.
Fancy that. My goodness.
Right. So I used to write. Sometimes I write crazy stuff like, oh, the roses is red and all that. But then she said, express it more in your way. So gave me a little glimpse on it to go in. So during high school with his English literature, writing, composition, I was sailing like a boat because I was getting all that from my grandmother.
Yes. Lovely. I mean, that is such an example of how family can influence you, eh?
Yes.
And the value of having somebody in your life. Every youth needs it to really check for you, and it's just going to reinforce you. It's going to correct you, and it's going to set you on a path. My goodness.
Yeah.
Simone, let me ask you. I see where you have 9 books out on the market.
I do have more than 9 books out of on the market right now. I have at least 12 books on the market.
See ya.
I have 3 bestsellers. Thank to God, I have 3 bestsellers. One of my first bestsellers was Life of an Illegal Immigrant. So I speak about immigrants in the U.S. and how they were treated, being illegal, how it happened from leaving Jamaica to here, where we get to be legal, to be working, to have status. I wrote about that. And another bestseller is Breaking Barriers. Breaking Barriers is one of those tools that I use to wake up. That would be my motivational table. So I draw from my pen and paper and I put it down together. Breaking Barriers, that is it. And also Words to Inspire the Soul. Words to Inspire the Soul, that is something that it is, I want to give it to people. Like it's a tool that could inspire them no matter what's going on in the world.
Are you a religious person?
Oh yes. She's a devoted Christian.
Tell me how much your Christian faith influences what you write and how your career has developed.
My Christian faith influenced my career and my development, my self-development and personal and social development, 95%. I am a big person of faith, very big in faith, very, very big in faith.
Wow. Well, the foundations of our civilization lie in the Judeo-Christian tradition, and sometimes we, Erwin, divide our thinking, that we think that one side is secular and the other side is sacred. It's not that way, It's an integrated, interlaced existence that we all have. Schizophrenia is not good.
And she said that she has a willingness to take the task of daunting tasks.
Yes, well, clearly it is.
Situations.
Yes, we want to bless you, Simone, for the work you everywhere you go, people will know you're Jamaican. And and fancy that. Look at what you've told us, matter of factly, of the risks that you had to take, along with many others, during COVID. I mean, we're touched by the garbage badge when the protective gear wasn't there, and the fact that you had to endure loneliness and alienation. Why? In order to serve people in their extremities, eh? Wow, that's Erwin. That's part of our character. That's part of the heights of humane behavior,
Without a doubt, and that's why, gentlemen, as we come up to the top of the hour, we are going to have to bring Simone back on, because we didn't even get a chance to touch on the philanthropic side of her endeavors.
I want to hear more about her granny.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway,
you know what surprises me?
Well,
when she said about this literal separation of family in the house, because of which was working.
COVID.
Can you imagine you have to sleep outside, children inside the father?
Boy, never mind.
And you want to tell me, with that sort of sacrifice, that Jamaican working and sending much of what you earn back here,
that's not coward.
we are worried about a little rubbish that is said.
All right, Erwin, you got to go.
There. I know, but before I go though, Simone, thank you very much. We'll be talking to you again soon for all that you do.
Blessings from us.
I also want to remind our listeners that today is Marcus Garvey's 135th.
Yes, we lionized him at the beginning, and we lift up his memory, and he would be proud of Simone,
Yes, indeed.
As we are.
And we also remind our folks that back in 1962, the United States recognized Jamaica's independence on August 16, 1962, with the establishment of the American Embassy in Kingston. So a big shout out to Ambassador Nick Perry.
Indeed.
I hope he's having a party tonight to celebrate that.
Gotta go. Thanks so much for your company.
I'm sure you wouldn't believe that I saw him last week, and I told him that you presented his son to us.
Yeah, man.
And
I'm glad.
He was very happy. So you get a call from him, Erwin.
All right. So a bunch of union guys were hanging out, huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, gentlemen, thank you very much, and we'll be talking to you again come next week.
Thanks for the global connection with Erwin Clare of Arijam Radio in New York. That's the alchemy of the bridge, that we link with radio stations all over the world to do what? To link Jamaicans, to keep the spirit alive, to transmit information and viewpoint, and always to lift up the national spirit.
I am going to say this as my closing comment.
What's that?
I need you, running in your capacity as you are now, to let us sit down one day and talk. What can we do to help mobilize the right things that are presented by
so
media?
Many people, yes.
I'm not talking about just the fly media now, the print media, the religious readers, and because it can really cause a disruption. One little statement has caused a disruption of thousands of people who are making contributions.
But I think we have tried to set it straight and to draw something positive from it. Thanks so much for that thought. I accept the challenge. Thanks to Fitz Jackson and to Simone Myrie Dawson, our guest today. Thanks to Vaughan Thorpe, who's sitting in for Lafayne Wigan, who set up the program, to Jeffrey Brown, to Romy, to everyone in the Bridge 99 and Arijam families, to the world. Have a great afternoon. Nicky Z and the Crossover is an exciting follow-up to the public eye. Join us again next Wednesday. Till then, take care.